So hi everyone, I'm Louis Liu, the co-founder and CEO of Eigen Technologies. We're a natural language processing AI company based in London, New York. We serve a wide range of financial institutions, law firms, and insurance companies. Some of the publicly known clients include Goldman Sachs, Evercore, ING, Linklaters, and Hiscox. And actually, we probably serve most of the major Wall Street banks and many of the major European insurance companies, law firms, and banks, as well as some out in Asia. So another sort of interesting note is recently we closed our Series A funding round of 13 million pounds, $18 million with Goldman Sachs and Temasek 2 months ago, so we're very, very happy with that. So AI and NLP is a very sort of charged word these days. So what does that mean for us? Well, 98% of the data in this world have never been analyzed, right? And that's because they sit in image files, video files, or not, in the case of what we do, text. What we do is we provide a platform where a non-technical user, you can be a banker, a lawyer, an insurance broker, can take any type of document you want. It could be an insurance policy, a broker email, a claims email, and do one or two things to it. You can teach our platform to either extract data points out of it, or you can teach the platform to classify based on various different attributes. So let me just be very concrete in terms of two use cases. One use case is for a major investment bank. We helped them recently comply with a major US regulation where every single major US bank needs to analyze their entire portfolio of financial contracts. That's every loan agreement, every derivatives contract, and answer about 30 different legal and regulatory questions. Simple questions like what is the governing law, to much more complex questions like cross-default, downgrade triggers, things like that. To give you a sense of scale, most of the other banks hired several hundred lawyers over 2 years to comply with this regulation. This bank needed only 50 people. They trained up our machine, and we processed their entire document set, every single financial contract. And to give you a sense of scale, we got around 80 to 90% savings. Interestingly, we often say, well, machine learning, it's not perfect. Interestingly, they did a final benchmarking exercise across 12,000 data points, showed that the machine, out of the box, achieved a 91% inaccuracy rate in terms of data points extracted. Our platform is able to highlight areas which is not certain, which then the 50 people, instead of the several hundred people, were able to bring it up to 98%. And by the way, this is over 4 months instead of 2 years. The second interesting point is they did the same benchmarking exercise across 4 iterations of humans, which only achieved 92%. So machine plus human, better than human. At least that's certainly what we've seen in the field. Second use case I want to talk about, this is sort of an InsurTech event. For a major London insurance company, what we're sort of ramping up now is now as an insurance company, you can probably guess you get thousands of claims emails a day. And some of these claims emails are urgent. Some of them are actually so straightforward, you just pay it off immediately. Some are actually just a notification or a circumstance. So what we do for this insurance company is every single time a claims email comes in, we classify it into one of these different buckets. For the very important claims emails that actually need to be addressed immediately, we extract the key pieces of information such that the turnaround time and the client services can be much, much better. So these are hopefully just, we process at this point probably every single type of financial contract, most type of insurance documents that there is. And one of the reasons is because we provide a platform where instead of needing thousands or tens of thousands of examples, you only need 2 to 50 to get started. That means that, as I mentioned before, you could literally be completely computer illiterate and be able to take machine learning into your own hand. The second difference is that we've been benchmarked to be by far the most accurate in the market, and as a result, regulators trust us and to be able to provide this kind of granular information to the Federal Reserve, to the ECB, et cetera. And then finally, I would say is that I think there's a lot of mention of SDKs and APIs. Every single item that you can perform on our platform, you can access via the API. So we have full end-to-end integration. And I think I think I'll end with saying that it's very exciting for us to be able to work across insurance, law, and banking, and to be able to solve what I like to call the qualitative data problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Louis. Questions? Great presentation. Thank you very much. I'm a lawyer, I'm afraid, so I'm going to ask you a legal question.
Sure.
We, as a law firm, have looked at kind of AI software products, and an issue we've had is when you extract the data, it comes off our servers, and effectively the algorithms use some of our data, even if it's anonymized, to learn. Yeah. Have you kind of come across that issue in your world, and how did you deal with the client confidentiality issues?
Yeah, great question, and thank you for letting me sell my product a little bit better.
That was the purpose of the question.
So basically, we recognize this is a problem, right? In the world of GDPR, in the world where data, to quote The Economist, is a new oil, where corporates and companies become increasingly jealous of their data, we realize that data can't just flow everywhere. And so actually, when we deploy our software, data never leaves your system. You can choose it to stay completely on-premise, completely air-gapped, or you can choose to share it with your competitors. That is your choice. And the reason why we're able to do this versus a lot of the other platforms is because instead of needing, as I mentioned, 1,000 or 10,000 examples to train an ISDA agreement, to train an LMA agreement, we need about two documents to train 90+% on English language registry, and about 20, 30 examples to get 90+% on an ISDA. So that hopefully gives you a flavor for the ability, that flexibility, which means you don't have to share the data.
Okay, I get to ask all the questions. So Lewis, Palantir sounds like they're doing something fairly similar to you, valued at $40 billion.
Yeah. You've
just raised $13 million, that's great. But does Palantir need to look out, or did you get undervalued for all the great stuff you're doing?
We don't, I think we try to be very different, right? I think every company does something really interesting. I think Palantir offers really, really interesting services, data aggregation services to customers. They're great. So is IBM. I think every company offers something different. I think what we offer is fundamentally unique insofar as, to this date, I've not seen another machine learning platform that's able to learn a stock purchasing agreement with 50 examples. And I think we're feeling pretty good about that.
So that's code for Palantir, watch out. Eigen Technologies are here to take your space. Lewis, thank you very much.
Thank you. I have one shout out. We are massively hiring across sales, engineering, marketing, you name it. So come find me or Tom if you want a job. Thank you.